Welcome to AI for the people.
Uh,
Today we're going to unpack some incredible developments in artificial intelligence
right.
stuff that's not just changing the tech world,
Yeah.
but could actually impact your everyday life.
What's fascinating here is the sheer speed of these advancements.
Right.
We're used to progress being incremental,
Mm-hmm.
but AI is accelerating things exponentially.
It was like we blinked and suddenly science fiction became reality. You know,
Yeah.
we always hear about AI's potential, but now we're seeing concrete examples of it making a real difference.
Exactly. And that's precisely what we'll explore today. We'll dive into three key areas. A major breakthrough in drug discovery,
Oh.
the rise of AI agents across various industries,
Mm-hmm.
and the EU's attempt to set some ground rules with their AI Act.
Okay, let's start with something that sounds straight out of a movie. AI discovering a new antibiotic in just 48 hours.
Right.
That's faster than some of us order takeout.
It's mind-boggling when you consider that traditional drug development can take years. Yeah.
Sometimes even decades. We're talking millions,
Oh, wow.
even billions of dollars poured into research and testing.
Right.
AI has the potential to completely disrupt this process.
And this isn't just some random lab experiment.
Right.
This is cutting-edge research from MIT and Harvard.
Yeah.
What really stood out to me was how they used a deep learning model, which is like teaching a computer to sift through patterns and make connections, just
Yeah.
like our brains do,
Yeah.
but at warp speed.
Right. And this model analyzed millions of chemical compounds,
Mm-hmm.
a task that would be impossible for humans to do in such a short time. The result, they identified a new antibiotic that could be effective against drug-resistant bacteria.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting for all of us.
Yeah.
This isn't just about making science faster, it's about potentially saving lives. Antibiotic resistance is a huge threat, and this breakthrough could have a ripple effect on how we treat infections in the future. Absolutely. Imagine the possibilities if this technology is applied to other diseases like cancer or Alzheimer's. We could be looking at a future where cures are discovered and made available far more quickly than we ever thought possible.
It's both exhilarating and a bit
Yeah.
daunting, right?
Yeah.
It makes you wonder about who will have access to these discoveries and how AI might influence healthcare decisions down the line. But we'll leave those ethical questions for another day.
Right.
For now, let's shift gears and talk about another area where AI is making waves.
Yeah.
The rise of AI agents.
Ah, yes. AI agents, these autonomous systems are poised to change how we work and interact with technology.
Okay.
They can handle specific tasks,
Mm-hmm.
and some are even becoming more generalized, capable of switching between different roles depending on the need.
Think of them as incredibly specialized digital assistants on steroids.
Right.
And they're popping up everywhere. I was reading about how Google's using their Gemini AI agents to handle customer service, write
Yeah.
documents,
Yeah.
even manage those tricky supply chains.
What's fascinating about these agents is that they're not just about efficiency.
Right.
They're also being used to tackle really complex challenges, like what KoBold Metals is doing in the mining industry.
Yeah, I read about them.
Yeah.
So instead of sending teams out to physically search for valuable minerals,
Yeah.
they're basically letting the AI do the scouting.
Exactly. KoBold Metals is using AI agents to analyze geological data and pinpoint potential mining sites. In fact, they recently discovered a massive copper mine in Zambia,
Okay.
and this discovery wouldn't have been possible without AI.
Wow. And we're talking about a potentially huge source of copper here,
Yeah.
a resource that's essential for pretty much everything from our phones to our cars. This could have a big impact on global supply chains.
And it's not just about finding resources.
Right.
AI agents have the potential to make mining safer and more sustainable,
Right.
which is something we all should care about.
Okay, so we've got AI agents revolutionizing industries from customer service to mining, but what about healthcare? Surely there are applications there too, right?
Absolutely. AI agents are already streamlining tasks in hospitals and clinics.
Okay.
Things like scheduling appointments,
Oh.
handling paperwork, even answering basic patient questions.
So basically, they're taking care of all the tedious stuff so doctors and nurses can focus on what really matters.
Right.
Patient care. It's like having a super efficient,
Right.
tireless assistant that's available 24/7.
It's true.
Um,
And Ashima Gupta from Google Cloud predicts that soon these AI agents will be able to provide basic healthcare support and answer questions around the clock.
okay.
Imagine having access to reliable medical information anytime you need it,
Wow.
without waiting hours for an appointment.
It sounds incredibly convenient, but it also raises some interesting questions about the future of healthcare, and the role of human practitioners.
Yeah.
But before we get too deep into that, let's move on to our final area of focus.
Okay.
The EU's AI Act.
Right. This is a potentially game-changing piece of legislation that could have a huge impact on the development and use of AI, not just in Europe, but worldwide.
So the EU is stepping up and saying, hold on, we need some rules for this powerful new technology.
Right.
It's like the Wild West of AI is finally getting its first share.
Yes, a great analogy. And it makes sense because the EU's approach is about promoting responsible and ethical AI development.
Right.
They're not trying to stifle innovation, but they are drawing some clear lines in the sand.
So what are some of the key aspects of this AI Act? Give us the rundown.
Well, they're taking a risk-based approach, meaning they're going to regulate AI systems differently depending on the level of risk they pose.
Makes sense. So what would be considered a high-risk AI system?
Think of applications like social scoring, where AI is used to judge people's behavior and assign them a score. Or imagine systems that use facial recognition for mass surveillance, potentially invading people's privacy without their consent. These are the kinds of high-risk applications the EU is specifically targeting.
So the EU is saying, let's use this powerful technology responsibly and make sure it benefits society. Not exploits or controls people. It's a delicate balance, right? Encouraging innovation while protecting fundamental rights and values.
Precisely. And the really interesting part is that this AI Act could have a ripple effect globally. It could set a precedent for other countries to follow as they grapple with the challenges of regulating AI.
It's like the EU is throwing down the gauntlet and saying, this is how we think AI should be developed and used. Who's with us? And this is a pretty powerful statement. But we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
We have. And I think it's clear that AI is already shaping our world in profound ways, from how we discover life-saving medicines to how we work and interact with the technology.
We'll be back soon with part 2, where we'll delve even deeper into these fascinating developments. But until then, take a moment to consider what really stood out to you in this first part. What resonated most with your own life and experiences. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of AI.
Last time we explored some pretty mind-blowing developments. I mean, AI discovering new antibiotics. AI agents taking over tasks from customer service to mining. It's a lot to wrap your head around.
It is. And we're just scratching the surface. But before we move on, I think it's worth circling back to something you mentioned earlier. Those potential downsides of AI agents.
We talked about transparency, accountability, and the impact on jobs. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of these advancements. But we need to be mindful of the challenges too.
Absolutely. As AI agents become more integrated into our lives, it's crucial to ensure they're operating ethically and benefiting society as a whole. We need to be asking some tough questions.
So let's start with transparency. What does that mean in the context of AI agents?
Transparency means being able to understand how these agents make decisions. What data are they using? What are the steps in their decision-making process? If we don't understand how they work, how can we trust them to make decisions that affect us?
It's like having a black box making choices that impact our lives. A little unnerving, right? We need to be able to look under the hood, so to speak.
Exactly. And along with transparency comes accountability. If an AI agent makes a mistake, who's responsible? Is it the developer, the company deploying it, or even the user? These are complex questions, especially as these systems become more autonomous.
It's like the classic trolley problem, but on a much larger scale, with potentially far-reaching consequences.
Precisely. And then there's the impact on jobs. Something that's on a lot of people's minds. As AI agents become more capable, will they displace human workers? Will entire professions become obsolete?
It's a valid concern. I mean, we're already seeing AI take over tasks that were once done by humans. Not just in manufacturing, but in fields like law, finance, even creative industries.
It's true. The nature of work is changing, and we need to be prepared for that shift. It's not just about losing jobs. It's also about the need for retraining and developing new skills that are relevant in an AI-driven world.
So maybe instead of fearing AI, we should be focusing on how to adapt and work alongside it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need to be proactive in developing education and training programs
Right.
that equip people with the skills they need to thrive in this evolving landscape.
Okay, so we've covered some of the potential downsides. But let's shift gears now and talk about another area where AI is making waves. The realm of scientific discovery.
We touched on this earlier with the example of AI discovering a new antibiotic.
Right.
That's just one example of how AI is accelerating breakthroughs in various scientific fields, from material science to astronomy.
So it's not just about finding new drugs. AI is helping us unlock the secrets of the universe.
Exactly. AI can analyze massive data sets,
Right.
identify patterns, and make predictions that would be impossible for humans to do on their own. It's like having a super-powered research assistant that works 24/7.
Okay. Give us some concrete examples. How is AI being used to push the boundaries of scientific knowledge?
Well, in materials science, AI is being used to design new materials with specific properties like strength, flexibility, or conductivity. This could lead to the development of lighter, more fuel-efficient airplanes, or more durable and efficient solar panels.
Wow. So AI is not just helping us understand the world around us. It's helping us create a better world. It's almost like something out of Star Trek, but it's happening right now.
It is exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And in astronomy, AI is being used to analyze data from telescopes to identify new planets, stars, and even galaxies. It's helping us expand our understanding of the cosmos at an unprecedented rate.
It's like having an AI astronomer constantly scanning the skies, looking for new and exciting discoveries. It makes you wonder what we'll find out there.
Exactly. AI is pushing the boundaries of scientific exploration in ways we never thought possible. It's truly a golden age of discovery.
But with all these incredible advancements, it also feels like we're entering uncharted territory.
That's true. And it leads us to another fascinating area of AI research, artificial general intelligence, or AGI.
AGI, that sounds intense. Break it down for us. What exactly does that mean?
AGI refers to a hypothetical type of AI that would have the ability to understand, learn, and perform any intellectual task that a human being can. In other words, an AI that's as smart as, or even smarter than, us.
Okay, now we're getting into some serious science fiction territory. Is that even possible?
Right.
And if so, what are the implications?
Those are the million-dollar questions.
Yeah.
Some experts believe that AGI is just a matter of time.
Right.
While others are more skeptical. But the very idea raises a whole host of ethical and philosophical questions.
Like, what happens if we create an AI that's more intelligent than us?
Right.
Will it become our friend, our partner, or our competitor?
Yeah.
Will it even care about us at all?
These are questions that science fiction has explored for decades.
Right.
But now they're starting to feel a lot more real. We need to start having these conversations now before it's too late.
It's almost like we're on the verge of a new era.
Yeah.
One where the relationship between humans and machines fundamentally changes. It's both exciting and a little bit scary.
It is. But ultimately, I believe AI has the potential to be a force for good in the world. It's up to us to ensure that it's developed and used responsibly.
And that brings us to another crucial aspect of this conversation.
Okay.
The role of government in regulating AI.
Right, because as AI becomes more powerful, the question of how to govern this technology becomes increasingly important. We need to find a balance between fostering innovation and protecting the public interest.
We'll delve deeper into the complexities of AI regulation in our next segment. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to AI for the People. We've covered so much ground already, from AI's potential to revolutionize healthcare to the mind-boggling concept of artificial general intelligence.
And now we're entering perhaps the most crucial part of the conversation. How do we govern this incredibly powerful technology? How do we make sure AI is used for the benefit of humanity, not to its detriment?
You know, it's fascinating. We've talked about AI's potential to solve some of the world's biggest challenges, but it also presents a whole new set of challenges in itself.
Absolutely. And that's where government regulation comes in.
Right.
It's about finding that sweet spot, fostering innovation while safeguarding against potential risks. Right, because we can't just hit the pause button on progress, but we also can't afford to be naive about the potential downsides.
Exactly. And that's why it's so interesting to see how different countries are approaching AI regulation. We've already touched on the EU's AI Act, which is arguably the most comprehensive framework we've seen so far.
Yeah. The EU seems to be taking a pretty proactive stance, emphasizing risk assessment, transparency, and human oversight. It's like they're saying, we're not going to let AI become the Wild West.
Right, and they're particularly concerned about high-risk AI systems like those used for social scoring or facial recognition surveillance.
Right.
They're essentially drawing a line in the sand saying, these applications have the potential to be misused, so we're going to regulate them more strictly.
Which makes sense. But what about other countries? Is everyone on the same page as the EU?
Not exactly. The U.S., for example, has traditionally taken a more hands-off approach, focusing on promoting innovation and letting the market drive AI development. It's more of a wait-and-see attitude with a greater emphasis on self-regulation within the tech industry.
So it's a bit of a balancing act, right?
Yeah.
No one wants to stifle innovation or fall behind in the global AI race. But there's also a growing awareness of the need for some guardrails.
Precisely. And it's not just about national regulations. This is a global issue that requires international cooperation.
Which is why it's interesting to see what's happening at the United Nations.
Right. The UN has been working on developing global guidelines for ethical AI development. They recognize that what happens with AI in one country can have implications for the entire world.
Right.
It's a complex challenge, but it's encouraging to see that these conversations are happening at the highest levels.
You know, it strikes me that this is one of those rare moments in history where we have the opportunity to shape a technology before it fully shapes us.
It really is. And that's why it's so important for everyone to be informed and engaged in these discussions. It's not just about governments and tech companies, it's about all of us.
Because ultimately, AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. It's up to us to decide what kind of future we want to build with it.
Well said. And I think that's a great takeaway for our listeners. We've explored the incredible potential of AI, the challenges it presents, and the critical role of regulation in shaping its development.
It's been a fascinating journey, and it's clear that the AI revolution is just getting started.
But as we move forward, let's remember to approach AI with both a sense of wonder and a sense of responsibility. Let's ask tough questions, demand transparency, and work together to ensure that AI is used to create a better world for everyone.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. We hope you found it informative, thought-provoking, and maybe even a little bit inspiring. Remember to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives on the most important issues of our time. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time.